All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How you doing? Thanks for hanging out with me today and every day on these interwebs, webbies. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Rockfin. What's up, Rockfinners? What's up, William Moy, Urban Hermit? We're live on Callin. I know I'm starting a little late. My apologies. We're a little later than usual. I tried, guys. I really, really do. I try. A really good way to support the show is buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews. Super Rays on YouTube, great. Rockfin Super Rays on Rockfin. Sorry, that's where the Super Rays live. Super chats on YouTube, greatly appreciated. Venmo and Cash App, super great ways to directly contribute to the show. And okay, that's it. And Patreon. Don't forget Patreon. All right. Good to see you. Let's get into it. There's a lot to talk about. There were so many good thumbnails to choose from today. Memes. This is a good one. Meanwhile, my Rockfin subscribership keeps on growing. My YouTube subscribership has stayed the same for like 4 years in a row. I don't know what's going on. House of Cards is a structure, a situation, or institution that is insubstantial, shaky, or in constant danger of collapse. Thoughts? Why care if species go extinct? And it may be that our being at the top of the pyramid relies on all of these things that we deem lesser. Someone wrote so sagely the other day that beings are the only intelligent species around. Okay. And I've seen probably 20, 30 examples of why that was wrong in the last week since reading that article. But that could be the problem right there in and of itself, that we just think of ourselves so highly, so grandly, and everything else is so lowly, so subordinate to us. But all of these creatures that we deem subordinate to us, for us to just control, right? To conquer, so that we may go forth and multiply, and right? We see these things as lowly beings, not worthy of respect or care, only as commodities, things with price tags. And all of these things are things on which we rely in order to be at the top of the pyramid in our safety, with our safe little homes and safe little lives. But if they go away, we go away. And that's the truth, Bruce. All right. That's a good one. I like that one. We'll go right back to climate change. We're gonna break this up with a little bit of like, what, me worry? We seem to be saber rattling everywhere. What is going on? Does anybody know what's going on? I thought we voted out fascism. I thought we voted out saber rattling and warmongering and bad things. But we're all up in Ukraine right now. We're threatening Taiwan and China. We're threatening Mexico. We're threatening, Sudan. We're threatening, all countries everywhere. And let's add North Korea to the list. There isn't anybody out there we can't bully into submission, into doing our will. Biden is sending nukes to the Korean Peninsula for the first time in decades. Insane escalations everywhere. Yeah, he put out some tweet yesterday that was like, if Biden didn't just plagiarize this tweet from Trump, something like, North Korea, don't you ever threaten to do anything bad there. I don't know why this keeps happening. North Korea, we'll teach you, North Korea, right? Doing that whole, it was extremely Trumpian. Okay. U.S. to send nuclear submarines in a new pledge to protect South Korea from North's threats. Just saying the same things over and over again. The plan to dock the ballistic missile submarines in South Korea, which hasn't happened since the 1980s, headlines an effort to make U.S. deterrence against Kim Jong-un's regime more visible. Well, also, they're right next to Russia. So there's that, right? This could just be, sure. Maybe North Korea is really a threat or something, which I actually don't believe for a second. The way Iran is a threat, I don't really believe it, but they are right next to Russia. So this is very handy, isn't it? And also China, right? So they're right next to Russia, right next to China. Darn you, North Korea, we got to send these nuclear submarines to contain you. But China and Russia are right there. So maybe it's just a message to everybody in the region. That's the way I'm looking at this. I don't even know if this has to do with North, because when I did see the tweet, I was like, well, that's out of nowhere. Oh, North Korea again? What? Oh, I thought we were threatening like China and Russia and everybody else. I thought we were, we're North Korea too? Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, there isn't anybody we can't bully, seemingly. Or that's what we think. The Washington Declaration, as it's known, won't involve the U.S. as deploying nuclear weapons to the South, as it did during the Cold War, the officials said. Instead, the U.S. will increase the number of military assets it sends to the country on a temporary basis, such as nuclear-armed submarines. It's okay. Well, this is totally different, except for it's the same thing. So maybe that's good. This is better, isn't it? They're just experts, at moving the words around. They're like super good at that. Just moving the words around. It's not really the same thing as it was before. We weren't deploying missiles. This time we're just stationing missiles on a temporary basis. So you're like deploying missiles on a No, we're just stationing assets there on a temporary basis. Oh. Okay. There, it's a marvel to behold, isn't it? Anyways, going back to things that go bump in the future. From Fenrir, who's retweeting a thread from Collapsologisti. I guess that's Collapsologisti is the name of the account. Anyways, Fenrir says, excellent thread on likely future. The only missing driver, and this is just a nail in our coffin, is the forecast solar cycle 25 termination event, which adds 0.2C. Also possible is back-to-back El Nino, though for that we will have to wait and see. I mean, just as a, for context, Fenrir, the account, very clued into the climate change situation. Also extremely pessimistic about the climate situation. I'm not saying anything that this account is saying is not true. I'm just thinking, this is, take this as a worst case scenario. And, if that's how you want to take it, fine. Somewhere between, bad and super bad is probably where it is. So pick your target. I don't know. Anyways, let's look at this. This is a good thread. And what I would like to point out, what's up, Rockfin people? Just Rockfin people kind of filing into the chat. Thanks for hanging out, Rockfinners. I see you. Ace Butcher says, I don't know what's going on, except Iran commandeered an oil tanker bound for Texas in international waters. Go Iran. Things are heating up. In many ways, right? Things are heating up in many ways. But let's look at this thread. The chain of events described herein is based on a hypothetical situation and should not be taken as a prediction. Okay, so this is, I like this disclaimer at the beginning of this. This is a what if. But what I would like to point out as I read through this thread is how many of the things in this prediction are actually happening right now. Like things, I was reading through this and I was like, this is already happening. This is already happening. This is going on. So, I don't know. I guess that's pretty scary. 2023, May. Early warning systems detect unusual warming in the equatorial Pacific Ocean, signaling the possible onset of a super El Nino event. Researchers begin monitoring the situation closely. So that is already happening, right? We're taking this story here, the jumping off point, if you will, from something that's happening right now in reality. Major warming in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Also major sea surface temperatures. That graph seems to just keep deviating farther away from where it's supposed to go. Interpret that how you will. Researchers begin monitoring the situation closely. Arctic sea ice begins to melt at an unprecedented rate, reducing the Earth's albedo and exacerbating global warming. June, warming intensifies, and the World Meteorological Organization confirms the emergence of a super El Nino. So we're not there yet. This is just, but what a lot of people are predicting, and I don't know about the, you can assume if it's warmer that the ice is going to melt. So I think we can count on that. Governments and organizations start preparing for the potential consequences. The Atlantic meridional overturning circulation starts to weaken due to the influx of fresh water from melting ice and the increasing temperature of ocean water, causing abrupt climate shifts in the North Atlantic region. July 2023, the Super El Nino strengthens, causing extreme weather patterns, including torrential rains in parts of South America and severe droughts in Australia and Southeast Asia. These events disrupt agriculture, causing food prices to soar. Now, soaring food prices are that's already happening. And so I guess what they mean is they're going to soar even more than how they've been acting. But we haven't seen, we've seen the early indications that there's going to be some struggle for some crop yields in particular countries. That's already a done deal. That's happening. So we just are waiting to see how bad that will be. August 2023, the hurricane season in the Atlantic becomes more active, with several Category 4 and 5 storms making landfall in the Caribbean and the United States. Again, that has already happened. That has already happened over the last 5 years. We have already had several years of multiple Category 4 and 5 storms in the Gulf or in the Atlantic. Already a thing that's happened and is happening. So if it happens again, it's not like, oh, whoa, this is new. It's not new. It's already been happening. Coastal cities suffer extensive damage with economic losses in the billions. Again, already happening. Already happened. September 2023, persistent droughts in Southeast Asia lead to widespread forest fires. Smoke blankets the region, causing a significant decline in air quality and exacerbating respiratory illnesses. So, the widespread forest fires in Southeast Asia, I don't know if that is something that has been a major thing, but that's other places in the world that is already happening. Australia, the west coast of the U.S., Spain. What's going to happen in Spain is already experiencing a serious heat wave event, which a whole lot of journalists are busy not covering, right? Because why would I do that? Spain is suffering a crazy drought and heat wave event right now in April. And so what's going to happen with their wildfire season, impending wildfire season. So, yeah. October, the Super El Nino continues to intensify. Droughts in sub-Saharan Africa worsen, as in they're already happening. They just get worse, leading to water scarcity and crop failures. Humanitarian crisis erupt, with millions facing starvation. The weakened AMOC results in harsher winters in Europe and unpredictable weather patterns across the globe. November 2023, severe floods hit the western coast of South America, causing landslides and extensive infrastructure damage. Meanwhile, unusually warm winters in North America and Eurasia result in reduced snowpack and disrupted ecosystems. December, the Super El Nino peaks and global temperatures reach record highs. In December, polar ice melt accelerates, causing sea levels to rise at an alarming rate. Warming ocean temperatures and destabilized ocean currents lead to the release of methane hydrates from deep sea sediments. Again, something that is already happening, but just not on the the scale that it could happen. It's happening on a small scale, smallish. But when it becomes a massive release of methane, then watch out. 2024, January, the Super El Nino persists with no sign of weakening. The global economy is strained as countries struggle to cope with the ongoing disasters. International tensions rise, with countries blaming each other for inadequate climate action. February, drought-stricken regions experience further crop failures, leading to global food crisis. Prices skyrocket, causing civil unrest and food riots in multiple countries. The release of methane hydrates exacerbates the ongoing climate crisis, intensifying the Super El Nino and its consequences. March, coastal cities face increased flooding due to sea level rise and more frequent storm surges. Governments struggle to allocate resources for infrastructure repair and disaster relief. further straining their economies. April 2024, disease outbreaks become more common as warmer temperatures allow the spread of vector-borne illnesses like malaria and dengue fever. Healthcare systems are overwhelmed. May 2024, the Super El Nino finally begins to weaken, but the damage is done. The world faces a polycrisis of food, water, and energy shortages, as well as economic, political, and social instability. June, the Super El Nino weakens gradually, but the damage is widespread. Countries struggle to recover from the effects, while ongoing consequences of the weakened AMOC, melting Arctic sea ice, and the released methane hydrates continue to contribute to the global climate crisis. July 2024, unusually intense monsoon rains in South Asia cause widespread flooding and landslides, displacing millions of people and exacerbating the ongoing food crisis. The erratic monsoon patterns are attributed to the weakened AMOC and increasing global temperatures. August 2024, Blue Ocean event occurs as Arctic sea ice reaches a record low, leaving vast expanses of open water in the region. This unprecedented loss of sea ice further decreases the Earth's albedo, accelerating global warming and intensifying the cascading effects of various climate tipping points. September 2024, wildfires become more frequent and severe in regions like the Amazon rainforest, western North America, and Siberia, releasing massive amounts of carbon dioxide and reducing the planet's capacity to absorb CO2. October, climate refugees start to become a major global issue as people are forced to leave their homes due to sea level rise, extreme weather events, and food and water shortages. This places additional strain on already struggling economies and heightens geopolitical tensions. November 2024, the global economy remains fragile, with countries focusing on disaster recovery, refugee crisis, and food and water shortages. International cooperation becomes increasingly important in addressing these challenges, but political divisions and national interests threaten to undermine collective efforts. Meanwhile, European countries continue to experience harsher winters and unpredictable weather patterns due to the disrupted AMOC. December, as 2024 comes to an end, the world has experienced a year of unprecedented climate disasters and economic turmoil. The El Nino event has subsided, but the ongoing effects of climate tipping points continue to destabilize the global climate system. Governments should cooperate and prioritize humanitarian aid to mitigate the potential collapse of civilization. However, they are merely engaging in conflicts and blaming each other, leading to preparations for war. There's another thread here. It looks interesting if you guys want to find this channel. A diary of societal collapse and hope, I guess. It's another thread, I guess, on the on another collapse scenario. All right. What does that miss? To me, that scenario is missing. Kind of some uglier things that could happen. Whereas if you have those kind of massive crop failures, or climate refugee scenarios going on, you also have they forgot to mention like mass heat events, or extreme heat events from an accelerated warming. So let's say many places that usually might see 115 as a top end or 120 as a top end of heating suddenly see 130 or 140 as a top end of heating. What you're going to have is some very, very horrible situations happening, right? You're going to have mass death events. And that will certainly shock the hell out of people, right? That'll certainly put people on alert. And I don't know. I sure it was a possible scenario. I have a feeling, and not a good feeling, that we're probably going to see. Oh, I love it. Rockfin logs me out during a show. That's great. I have a feeling that we might see some of those extreme heat events this year. I don't want to be right. I do not want to be right. I hope that I'm wrong about that. All right. Sorry, rock vendors. I mean, I think you guys still might be going, but for some reason, Rockfin likes to log me out in the middle of a show, which is weird. But y'all are still here with me, and that's cool. That's cool. Let's see. What are we doing? Give me one moment, Phantomas. Again, as I said, lots of these things are already happening. Extreme weather events, things that are knocking out normalcy. Extremely dangerous thunderstorms producing hail up to the size of grapefruit in parts of Texas. National Weather Service has issued an urgent severe thunderstorm warning for Dublin, Purves, Claret, and Olin in Texas, as they are calling this a life-threatening situation currently. The storm is generating hail ranging from baseball to softball size. You do not want to get hit by one of those. Reports of hail as large as grapefruit in size reported in Waco, Texas. Yeah, if you're not aware, awake, even, alive, and noticing that there's a lot of weird things happening with the weather, then lucky you. I guess you're lucky you get to, go from one air-conditioned bubble to another and not even notice that anything's going on. And that certainly is a great situation if you're trying to stay asleep. It's just not look at the problem. Hold on, Phantomas. Trying to get your sound in here. Give me 1 second, Phantomas. It's gotta get a good buzz going on here, so I know that you're on. Hold on 1 second. Maybe I have to put you over here. Sorry for the delay, guys. We're gonna work it out. All right, Phantomas, how you doing? I think I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm doing good. On your question of all of this activity in the military and the turbulence that we're facing in country to country to country, I just started watching this documentary called Carrier, and it's about life on the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier, and it's a 10-part series. But what's really interesting is when you start watching things like that in particular, you start realizing really, really quickly why we need to have conflicts and why it needs to be a constant escalation more and more, because our budget is increasing year by year by year. You see, Kev, and the more weapons we have stockpiled, the more excuses we have to come up with, and the more reasons we have to come for invasions, and it just gets crazier and crazier and crazier. That's what I think we're facing right now in so many areas of the world, and I don't think there is any escape of it unless you find a way to turn it the faucet off as much as you can. And good luck with that. So I think that's where we're at right now with that.
Yeah. Well, was it Smedley Butler that said war is a racket?
Yes,
And
war is a racket.
War is a racket, and it's really these huge economic players, pitting countries or people against each other in order to reap the profits. And really, that's what are the last, the many of the last wars the U.S. has engaged in, which weren't even open wars. We don't openly engage in war anymore. We just do these like proxy wars or these undeclared wars, and all of them are. It's just a money laundering operation with people just being killed as people dying in these wars as just collateral damage, right? Or just
So an episode.
their lives are treated as what's the word for it in like shipping, a breakage or something, right? Like, it's just all part of the so it's cost of doing business.
In one of the scenes that's interesting and is the fact that they have all these bombs on board, all of this arsenal of weapons of missiles and just anything in terms of bombs that's just underneath the carrier itself. Yeah. And all of these bombs have messages on them because a lot of people thought that they would be using them. So a lot of people in that room will come visit and look at the bombs and just to read the messages, because the chances are they're not going to use these bombs. They're going to just they're going to expire and they're going to be deteriorated and they're going to be a waste of money. Right. So I found that kind of interesting. I think that's where we're at right now. We have so many bombs that are signed, that are autographed collectibles, that we need to start using them. That's what. Yeah. I mean, not to be morbid, but I think that's where we're at right now. People have signed so many warheads.
Yeah.
So many.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. It's unfortunate. I mean, it's just war is also good for the economy. The military is good for the economy, and we're too stupid and short-sighted. The people, not we, but the people at the top, to think that we could have a healthy, functioning economy or country without the military being the main driver of it. And or having the military be the main driver of innovation, technology. It always seems to be right at the forefront of that, and it doesn't have to be that way, but it is.
I found it interesting because this was filmed in 2005, and even back in 2005, they had people on the complete crew, and it was amazing that they were able to film them and have this opinion. They weren't sure what they were fighting for. Even then, they could speak to a microphone and voice their opinion on the war a little bit. And it was interesting to hear because a lot of people just came to the conclusion that they fight with every day, which is what we probably have the same sentiment was what am I here for? Not the existential question that everyone asks, but in terms of the ship, what are they there for? What?
Right.
All this time away from their families, all this time away from their loved ones. Is it going to be worth it in the end? And why am I wandering in a circle on the ocean with 5,000 people? Do I like what I'm doing? Just all of these questions. And it's just amazing how fast people are drawn to that, because when you're on a ship like that, of that many people crowded together, and you are given an assignment day after day after day, and you don't know where you're going to end up, and you don't know what the next day is going to be like, if there's going to be a combat or whatever's going to happen. It seems to me that, I can only imagine what people in the Navy and the Air Force and the military are saying in private right now.
Yeah. Hey man, I thank you for the call. I got to let you go.
All right.
And cover the because my fault because I started late. But thanks, Finn Thomas. I was just gonna say one more thing. It's no wonder too why veterans are on the list of potential domestic terrorists. They're high on the list. Why? Because they've been close to the thing, and they see they see what it is right up front. And they're probably, I've met and known quite a few veterans, not all of them, but quite a few veterans who are as disillusioned as anyone else, if not more, with the state of affairs and what's really going on, what it's all about, really. So yes, veterans come home and they tend to be the most disillusioned, maybe anti-government, maybe have anti-establishment, anti-government sentiments, right? And they know this. The powers that be know this, that these people are. Maybe that's why they're trying to make robots so fast, so we can just have the robots go out and do it without any feelings about it. But all the best laid plans, right? Because what if the robots have a little learning algorithm, and they start going, "Oh, you know what? You know who the enemy is? Yeah." Is there anyone out? If there is anyone to look back at this time, they will wonder what we thought about seeing a livable climate disappear right in front of our eyes. This is from Steve Austin. Record ocean temperatures put Earth in uncharted territory, say scientists. We've been covering this. I don't know why it's okay. Temperatures in the world's oceans have broken fresh records, testing new highs for more than a month in an unprecedented run that has led to scientists stating that the Earth has reached uncharted territory in the climate crisis. The rapid acceleration of ocean temperatures in the last month is an anomaly the scientists have yet to explain. We're not sure why this is happening. We're scientists. We are smart. Could be that it's getting hotter. I don't know. I'm Jeff Spicoli. The rapid acceleration of ocean temperatures in the last month is an anomaly the scientists have yet to explain. Data collected by the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, known as the Optimum Interpolation Sea Surface Temperature Series, gathered by satellites and buoys, has shown temperatures higher than in any previous year in a series stretching back to 1981, continuously over the past 42 days. God dang is all I got to say. When you look at that chart, all you got to say is, oh boy. Yeah. The world is thought to be on the brink of an El Nino weather event this year, a cyclical weather system in the Pacific, and it's going to get really hot, etc. That's all I got to say about that. Anyways, warming oceans are a concern for many reasons. Seawater takes up more space at higher temperatures, accelerating sea level rise, and warmer water at the poles accelerates the melting of the ice caps. Hotter temperatures can also be dire for marine ecosystems, as it can be difficult or impossible for species to adapt. Corals, in particular, can suffer devastating bleaching. Yeah. And here's the crux of it. The oceans have stored 90% of the excess energy and most of the heat and most of the carbon that we have pumped into the atmosphere, and now it cannot absorb any more. And when it decides to go, I'm good, and let all that heat go and energy go, energy in the form of heat, well, nobody knows where it's going to stop. Anyways, that chart, it's I don't know. It's kind of like sitting on some train tracks and having a train head towards you, and you just kind of look at it and you just watch it come right at you. That's kind of all you can do. All right. If that didn't sound dire. Sorry, I can't give you any good news there, Sean Kelly. But I don't know. Some comedy might be good. People pulling pranks on each other might be good. Some soft, fuzzy animals playing in the field might be good. I don't know. Fantoma sent me this about the SpaceX launch that torched part of a state park. I mean, we know this is going to be just absolutely. I mean, look at that. Nothing about this can be beneficial for the environment. Anyways, the SpaceX Starship exploded over Texas last week and sparked many conversations among space buffs, but it also sparked a 3.5 acre fire in the state park. In addition to the fire, wildlife officials said in a statement, large concrete chunks and sheets of stainless steel were among the objects found thousands of feet away. Officials also found that a plume of pulverized concrete deposited material 6.5 miles northwest of the launch pad. Yeah. It's just out there in the desert where, it's just out there where nothing else is. That's all. It's just out there where nothing else is. I know you're joking, Sean Kelly. I was just playing along. So Pam Ham says, someone said, if Elon gets to Mars, it will be the worst suburb ever. Rich Diana says, a piece of it crushed a car's roof. Oh, my. Everybody, duck and cover. Stay in your home. Get under your desk at school. SpaceX is launching a rocket. We don't know. We don't know where it's going to land today. Oh, speaking of rockets exploding. I know this is just a completely random sidetrack, but I saw a video saying that all the people that were on the Challenger rocket that exploded, when was that? Late 80s? The Challenger rocket, the what was it called? Oh, jeez, I can't even remember. Anyways, that all the people on the rocket are still alive. Some under the same name. So I don't know. It was an interesting video. I don't know whether I couldn't verify it, but just made me go, huh? Like that. All right. Anybody, Space Shuttle. Thank you. I was just like completely blanking on that name. Yeah, I was like space bus in my mind. Space train, transport, space shuttle. That's it. Anyways, yeah, I saw that video and I was like, never heard about this before. That's an interesting theory. I don't know. Anybody else hear about that? I never heard about that one before. Piqued my interest somewhat. Does it really matter? I don't know. Does it matter in the scheme of things? Not sure. People have been talking about this video a lot, so I decided maybe I'll show it on my. You see this guy challenging the corporate media on their poor performance. Jimmy Dore says this guy goes hard at the editors of America's biggest newspapers, and they're caught lying about war. Americans going along with Ukraine war, the biggest moron since the last war and the war before that. Not my words, Jimmy Dore's words. But I don't know. I like Jimmy Dore. This is Jose Vega, I think. I think I'm right. Yes, it's Jose Vega. He's doing a really good job of like finding out where the important people are talking and going to give them a talking to. So let's listen to this. This is interesting.
I'm looking for the one with Seymour Hersh because it's a policy and press hall event. So shouldn't we be talking about the Nord Stream since that's the biggest story of the century? And you guys, you have the executive editor of the New York Times there who came out with a phony story to try and block Seymour Hersh. It's just kind of funny how that happened, I mean, did you even acknowledge Seymour Hersh? All of you are executive editors of papers that broke Pentagon, My Lai, Watergate. Is this the same papers or not? I mean, is there anything you've gotten right in the last 20 years, or am I mistaken about that? I mean, it's just kind of funny because Iraq, wrong. Syria, wrong. Russiagate, really wrong. Okay, I mean, the list goes on and on. So the last thing you could do to try and actually fix your reputation is acknowledge that through leaks, we had to find out that Zelensky was going to bomb Moscow on the anniversary. I mean, if you're so impartial, shouldn't you at least say, right, that Zelensky was going to bring us on the verge of World War III? That seems pretty fair. While Julian Assange rots in prison, all of you got, fat checks because he's in jail for doing your job. And you know what? Tucker Carlson ain't no Seymour Hersh. But he did something you guys are scared to do. Speak the truth and actually be critical of the war, which is why he was actually fired from Fox. Because you are all cowards. Every single one of you. None of you have actually had any relevancy. And you know what? The mainstream press is now dying. Nobody's ever going to listen to you again. You have no credibility with the public. The only people who care about what you have to say are elite assholes who have nothing productive to say anymore, and it's dying off. So will you at least say something either about Nord Stream or Ukraine or the fact that Zelensky brought us to the verge of World War III and the only reason we knew about that was through leaks? Go ahead, it's a free speech event, right? You guys are the press. Let's say something here. Mr. Khan, come on, you're the executive editor of the New York Times, I'm just trying to get into some good trouble here, man. Woo, listen, Karen, get out of my face for a second. I got to talk to these gentlemen. Well, I just want to hear what they have to say. Go ahead, I'm done. Wait your turn. You're not telling me. Come. Wait your turn. You could project if we can.
I just think it's important to hear everybody's point of view.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
All right.
I do think that we need to give our moderator a chance to ask other questions.
We're on the verge of World War III.
Some of the people in the audience also do something. Thank you. Really, thank you.
Say something about this bombing. We blew up the Nord Nord Stream pipeline. Listen, don't stand there while there are people rotting in prison. Nobody said anything about Uhuru, right? The socialists who are in jail for being critical of this war. God damn it.
You know, he's speaking the truth, and I think it's tough to get out there and confront these people. So kudos to Jose Vega. He's done this quite a few times. He's done it with AOC and a few other people. So, you know, kudos to anybody who speaks truth to power, whether it's, you know, wherever you may be able to do that. Tor, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate you. You know, this kind of support, that kind of support is really greatly appreciated. It helps this channel keep going. So thank you, Tor. Because unfortunately I have bills to pay like everybody else, and this, you know, this is something that I do with a portion of my day that I enjoy doing. I think other people enjoy it too. And it would be hard for me to do it. Harder for me to do it if I did not receive the support that I do. So thank you, Tor. Thank you. William, let's I'm gonna take your call, man. Can we keep it to like 2 minutes or something? Sorry, give me 1 second, William. Sorry, I gotta. All right, William, we're on.
Can you hear me, Kev?
Yep, I can.
Good. Well, I'll keep it short. Like you said, kudos to that man, he's badass. Was that Jose Vega? Is that his name, the reporter?
Yes.
Okay, real quick in the live chat, maybe you can review it. We can talk tomorrow when you like have more of an open talk day. The WHO pandemic treaty and the IHR amended proposed amendments. They're pushing this. There's Andrew Bridgen. There's a video I put in the live chat with him in front of the UK Parliament in the debate. They have a vote on this May 24th coming up on whether to vote against these proposals or not. The EU is totally all for it, and you probably know about that. There's also Dr. John Campbell covered this. So there's a YouTube video there, and then an expose article that goes back almost 8-9 months where they talk about there's a clear and present threat to democracy. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and maybe we could talk more about it tomorrow. I know you want to keep it brief today, and or if you've.
I got your links in the chat. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah. No, they are trying to. I mean, the pandemic treaties and all of the like the COVID requirements are still pushing forward, right?
Yeah.
Even though it seems like it's kind of over, right? And so
this
and that's
sorry, go ahead.
the time when people should be actually on high alert, right? Because they're still pushing these vaccine requirements through, or mandates, or rules of engagement for the next pandemic.
Yes, exactly. It's a lone storm. They got us lulled here, and they're going to push, try and force this through the EU and everything. And don't forget, Kev, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm sensitive to your time. They're also talking about censoring what they call, through the misinformation and disinformation through the World Economic Forum. They're all on board with this. The EU, the World Health Organization, that they're going to control the narrative then. So then we won't even have a voice. Then you have the weaponization of psychiatry. That's a whole other thing they've done to doctors in Canada, and they're trying to push through laws for any doctor who would go against their narrative to lose their license. Look what they did to Gordon Peterson, and for example, and where I think it was up in Ontario, where he's supposed to go through some counseling to be retrained or something because of his voice against the establishment. Anytime you go into the establishment, they pull this off. There's a couple other doctors that I can do a little more research to talk about tomorrow when you have more time. So I think we're 2 minutes.
Yes, no, it's all good. Well, thank you for thanks for putting the links in the chat. But yeah, I mean, it's
You're welcome.
this is not a good situation. And yes, I mean, well, everybody's going to be silenced under the auspices of national security, right? Your national security risk. They, I didn't remember this, but I heard somebody saying that they deemed Bernie Sanders a national security risk when he was running in 2016.
Unbelievable.
I mean, well, unbelievable and also believable, right? Like,
yeah.
It seems about right. Sounds about right. Are they already declaring? When are they going to declare RFK a national security risk? I mean, they're probably already, gearing up for something like that. And so anybody who's questioning or resisting or protesting or right, is going to fall, if not already fallen under the umbrella of this is a very dangerous person. We must watch them. And really all it is, and I think everybody is beginning to see the truth of it, is that it's just the powerful protecting themselves against anybody who has anything to say about what they're doing, right? So they're clearly in the wrong. They're clearly just run amok. They're corrupt beyond repair. And all they're trying to do is protect themselves as everything goes down, right? So, people need to just, I think in the end, like, people are just gonna have to get over that whole like, well, you're a very bad person. The state has deemed you a very bad person, right? No, okay, well, I guess we're all bad people then. So let's.
Hey, Kevin, unless you're Ray Epps, then you get the.
I didn't see that interview. I got to watch that. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They totally humanized him, right? I'm sure they made him. I was just, I was just there. I was just trying to help. These people are crazy, and I'm just, a good American patriot. Okay.
Blame it all on Trump. Not that I'm a Trump fan, but the Dominion thing. We were all let leave like he was a victim. Right. Unbelievable. What a load of nonsense. Obviously tied in with the FBI. I mean, even though everybody denies it, Right. In fact, the crowd was yelling at him, Fed.
Exactly. Everybody knew he was Fed. I think everybody knows he's, they're really going, just full speed ahead, and overboard trying to convince everybody that, like, I had a really good video. I'll have to play it tomorrow because it's the end of the day. But from Matt Orfalea, basically saying that they're, trying to create an alternate reality through the echo chamber, and that's a really good video. I'll play it tomorrow. But
great,
right? Basically, they're removing any voices of dissent whatsoever. And sure, there will be plenty of people that will continue to go along and go, whatever they say on TV is what the truth is. But I think it's come to the point, though, where most people can say, hey, there's, we see what you're doing. Like, this is not, you're not going to, but the thing is they don't even need, and I've said this for a long time, they don't even need you to manufacture consent. They never have, right? All they have to do is pass the football back and forth, right? The news says, hey, there's this thing going on, and the Congress goes, whoa, there's a thing going on. Well, we got to pass a law. And then and the news goes, well, people are saying that, what are people saying about it? Here's a poll on what we're, it's all fake anyways. They just make it up. They just construct it. So they don't even need you in the mix, right? It's just like Joe Biden saying, the American people aren't stupid. Like, they know that we have to cut Social Security and Medicare, right? And everybody's like at home going, what are you talking about? No, the American people don't know that. That's not what they think. You're just acting as if you're speaking for us, right? It's just, it's all fake, it's all made up, it's all pretend, and they just create this reality, and they each, Congress and the mainstream media and whoever else, and social media, paid social media trolls just all respond to each other as if this is a real thing, right?
I
See what
know,
they're saying. See what they're saying about. They don't need you to participate in it. They just need to keep bouncing it off of each other enough so that they're like, see, this is real. This is this is really going on. And if you question whether this is really going on, we're going to call you a nutcase. Yeah,
that's right. It's absolute madness. And then they bring in the psychiatry to, say you're such.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Literally. To
Right.
people, in other words, they target the people like Peterson and others, Dr. Peter McCullough, anybody who's telling the truth. Look at Aaron Brockovich, the latest thing. The Ohio State Police claimed she was a potential domestic terrorist threat for telling the truth about what was going on in East Palestine, Ohio.
Well, so that's just that's the game plan. Like anybody who's deemed big enough of a threat is a domestic terrorist or a threatening state security or state secrets or state something, and that's all you need. And it's all of it. I mean, it's super Stasi stuff.
Yes.
I mean, I had a school. Somebody that I cover daily about climate change is like, well, I often criticize Joe Biden, but we got to keep the fascists out of here. I was like, what the hell? Like, are you even paying attention? Because Joe Biden is right now more openly fascist than Trump ever was. Openly fascist, right? Everything that he's doing is like it's blatant and it's right in your face, and they're just daring you to say something about it, And people are still, okay, well, Joe Biden, he's still a better man. What are you talking about?
Right.
You're not even paying attention.
And they forget for decades he's been pushing cutting Social Security. Yet in his speech re-announcement that he's going to run again, he pushed that on the Republicans. That you don't want.
He's going to privatize Medicare too.
Unbelievable. It's totally Orwellian. It's bizarre.
Right. Hey man, I got to let you go because it's very late.
Thank you.
All right.
Talk tomorrow.
Have a good one. Take it easy.
You too. Bye.
All right. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you. Sorry, calling her as if there's a lot of extra noise on the channel right now. But thanks everybody for hanging out today, and I appreciate you. And I will. Oh, I forgot to say I got another super chat from Obsolete Optics. Thank you. Obsolete Optics says, I know everyone here has at least a $5 they can throw at Kevin. Will do ya. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever you can do, it's all good. If you can do it, cool. If you can't do it, cool. I appreciate you all being here, and thanks again, Obsolete Optics, for the support. I appreciate you, man. All right, thank you, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow at the regular time. Until next time, peace.